When we talk of development in an economic perspective, we usually discuss about gross national product, gross domestic product, poverty incidence, employment rate, income, prices, business, investments, currency exchange rate, import, export, inflation rate, and the like. Seldom that we think of the criminal justice system because we thought that it is not in any way related to economic development. However, people do not realize that all these economic components are governed by one common thing, and that is the rule of law. All of these are affected by the kind of government we have and the laws we have. Why do we have laws to regulate and govern these economic forces? Everyone would agree that if there is no law, there would be chaos. There would be anarchy. Since we are a democratic country, we have a free market. Anyone can engage into business provided he or she complies with all the requirements and applicable laws. Still, just like any other thing, our economy is not perfect. Crimes do happen in the economic world. So what are these crimes affecting our economic development? We are all aware of that instance wherein the market price of basic necessities such as rice, coffee, fresh vegetables, sugar, salt, or soap are being manipulated by one or a few persons. Under Republic Act number 7581, otherwise known as the Price Act, manipulation of the prices of any basic necessity or prime commodity is an illegal act, and it may take the form of hoarding, profiteering, and cartel. Now, what are these illegal acts? There is hoarding when a person or persons unduly accumulate any basic necessity or prime commodity beyond his or their normal inventory levels, or unreasonably limit or refuse to dispose of, sell, or distribute the stocks of any basic necessity or prime commodity to the general public, or unjustifiably take out such basic necessity from the channels of production, trade, commerce, and industry. Profiteering, on the other hand, is the sale or offering for sale of any basic necessity or prime commodity at a price grossly in excess of its true worth. Under the law, there are four instances wherein there is considered to be a prima facie evidence of profiteering. Number one, when the basic necessity or prime commodity is being sold without any price tag, is misrepresented as to its weight or measurement, is adulterated or diluted, or whenever a person raises the price of any basic necessity or commodity he sells or offers for sale to the general public by more than 10% of its price in the immediately preceding month. Now, how about cartel? Cartel is any combination of or agreement between two or more persons engaged in the production, manufacture, processing, storage, supply, distribution, marketing, sale, or disposition of any basic necessity or prime commodity designed to artificially and unreasonably increase or manipulate its price. Another example of a crime that affect economic development is economic sabotage or large-scale agricultural smuggling. Under Section 3 of Republic Act number 10845, otherwise known as the Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act of 2016, the crime of large-scale agricultural smuggling as economic sabotage involving sugar, corn, pork, poultry, garlic, onion, carrots, fish, and cruciferous vegetables in its raw state or which have undergone the simple processes of preparation or preservation for the market with a minimum amount of 1 million pesos or rice with a minimum amount of 10 million pesos as valued by the Bureau of Customs is committed through any of the following acts: importing or bringing into the Philippines without the required import permit from the regulatory agencies, using import permits of persons, natural or juridical, other than those specifically named in the permit, using fake, fictitious, or fraudulent import permits or shipping documents, selling, lending, leasing, assigning, consenting, or allowing the use of import permits of corporations, non-government organizations, associations, cooperatives, or single proprietorships by other persons, misclassification, undervaluation, or misdeclaration of import entry, or revenue declaration with the VOC in order to evade the payment of rightful taxes and duties due to the government. It also includes organizing or using dummy corporations for the purpose of acquiring import permits, transporting or storing the agricultural products subject for economic sabotage regardless of quantity, or acting as a broker of the violating importer. How do these crimes affect us or our economy? When prices are manipulated through hoarding, profiteering, or cartel, the consuming public will suffer the consequences. It will affect their capacity to purchase. The most affected people will be the poor because they could not afford anymore to buy the same quantity of goods with the same amount of money like what it could have been under normal conditions. Also, it will create an artificial inflation rate. Then the multiplier effect will continue. Cartel tends to bring about artificial and unreasonable increase in the price of any basic necessity or prime commodity, or they simultaneously and unreasonably increase prices on their competing products, thereby lessening competition among themselves. On the other hand, when there is economic sabotage through large-scale agricultural smuggling, it affects the production, availability of supply, and stability of prices, and the food security of the state. Moreover, the government loses revenues because the smugglers avoid payment of taxes, duties, and other charges. So when these crimes happen, who do we run to? What does our government do to deter and penalize the commission of these economic crimes? In the laws enacted by the government through the legislature, severe penalties are provided for these crimes. For instance, under the same RA number 7581, any person who commits hoarding, profiteering, or cartel shall suffer the penalty of imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years nor more than 15 years, and shall be imposed a fine of not less than 5,000 pesos nor more than 2 million pesos. For large-scale agricultural smuggling, Section 4 of RA 10845 provides that the penalty for this crime is life imprisonment and a fine of twice the fair value of the smuggled agricultural product and the aggregate amount of the taxes, duties, and other charges. So, the government will impose these penalties under the applicable laws mentioned above. However, before the perpetrators can be penalized, they have to be prosecuted. In other words, criminal cases should first be filed against the perpetrators. And that is where the DOJ or Department of Justice, particularly the National Prosecution Service, comes in to do its part. How do we penalize hoarders or saboteurs? They must be prosecuted. And this is now the job of the Department of Justice. The DOJ is one of the agencies attached to the executive branch of the government. By mandate, it is the principal law agency of the government. It serves as the government's prosecution arm and administers the government's criminal justice system by investigating crimes, prosecuting offenders, and overseeing the correctional system. The DOJ pursues its mandate through the following attached agencies: the Bureau of Corrections, Bureau of Immigration, National Bureau of Investigation, Parole and Probation Administration, Presidential Commission on Good Government, Public Attorney's Office, Office for Alternative Dispute Resolution, Office of the Government Corporate Counsel, Office of the Solicitor General, and Land Registration Authority. Now, what is the prosecution process? The prosecution process starts with the filing of the criminal complaint. The appropriate criminal complaint will be filed before the concerned prosecution office having jurisdiction over the case. Jurisdiction over the case is territorial. It means that the case should be filed in the prosecution office where the offense happened. A preliminary investigation will be conducted when the offense committed is punishable by imprisonment of at least 4 years, 2 months, and 1 day. On the other hand, an inquest proceeding is conducted in cases when the suspect was validly arrested without a warrant. The preliminary investigation or inquest proceedings will then result in the filing of the criminal case in court or the outright dismissal of the complaint for insufficiency of evidence. Once the case is already filed in court, trial will ensue until the court render judgment therein. Once the accused is convicted, he will be sentenced and later will serve the sentence. So now we know the role of the Department of Justice. So just like any other criminals, smugglers or hoarders will be prosecuted under the same process. When these manipulators, smugglers, or economic saboteurs are prosecuted and penalized, the economy is protected and the people can peacefully enjoy an economically developed society.